Previously on X-Men, the podcast that looks at X-Men comics, movies, shows, characters, and more. I'm Hillary.
I'm Nick.
And today we are talking about Deadpool and Wolverine.
It had to happen.
It had to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Have we done all the Deadpool movies?
You and Eric did the first one. We did the second one, and then I made you do that Deadpool Invisible Woman comic that you did not enjoy.
Ah, yes.
So
I got to tell you, Deadpool's not my thing.
I know.
But it's okay. I know it's a lot of people's thing.
Yeah.
This was a fun one because it's Deadpool, but it also has a heavy X-Men Fox-verse vibe, which is fun. This was released in theaters on July 26, 2024, which is actually more recent than I thought.
Yeah, it's pretty recent.
It was directed by Sean Levy, written by Ryan Reynolds,
Sure.
Rhett Reese, Paul, this is so many people,
Yeah.
Paul Wernick, Sean Levy, and Zeb Wells, who is a comic book writer.
That's right. Yeah, I've read a lot of his stuff. He did a lot of Spider-Man, New Mutants, Hellions, and he also wrote an Electra run, which is kind of fun.
So he's got some insight there.
That's right.
Cool. This is the thing that brings Deadpool into the MCU. So this is something that people have been talking about since the MCU started.
Basically.
How are we going to, are we going to connect the Fox stuff, the mutants, all of that stuff with the MCU? How would we do that?
Yeah.
Blah. They figured it out. They're doing it with the TVA from Loki,
Right.
and Deadpool is going to be the guy who kind of bridges the gap.
Yeah, because it was sort of like when the whole Fox-Disney merger came up, remember that was a thing that threw off New Mutants, and then all the plans they had post-New Mutants didn't really happen, and like Deadpool 2 and New Mutants swapped position on the calendar, so Deadpool 2 came out first, and then this movie seems like a real pivot. I mean, I know they always wanted Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds back together for this, but I'm surprised at how much this movie just completely ditches the two Deadpool movies coming up. You know, we have the cast assembled at the birthday party, but the whole X-Force and Cable and Domino and all that stuff from Deadpool 2 is just completely jettisoned in favor of this team-up movie.
Yeah. Well, I think that they just decided, because they've also sort of had crossover-ness with multiverse stuff. Yeah. They've done little dabbly things.
Yeah.
And I think with this, they just decided to just rip off the Band-Aid and just be it's a thing now.
Yeah, we're doing it. It's happening. Yeah.
So I think they've sort of changed tacks a little bit with this.
I guess there's really no way to smooth into it either. I mean, you got Hugh Jackman there. You know what I mean? How can they not bring him back for one more?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It is sad. I mean, I guess we'll get into it, but the scene that we have with Happy early on, I'd read that the wish was that Robert Downey Jr. would do that scene because it was set prior to Tony's death in Endgame and everything like that.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't really, now that he's just back being Doctor Doom, it's just do it. You know, a scene between Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr., I think that would have been really great.
That's true. That could have been good.
And, it's fun that it's Jon Favreau, but it would have been really nice.
I think there's a lot of things like that, like bringing in Wolverine and stuff.
Yeah.
That the fact that it's Deadpool allows it to work because he just straight up addresses it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They have the whole thing with Robert Downey Jr. doesn't do cameos anymore.
Right,
or, Wolverine, yes,
there.
Everybody wants Logan to rest in peace, but we're doing this anyway. Having it be that meta thing works, I think.
Well, it also kind of gives the actors an excuse to be okay, well, I said I wasn't going to do it anymore, but obviously this is a special circumstance.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah.
And we have the kind of the meta knowledge of Ryan and Hugh being besties,
right.
And so it's they're just going to do it because it's fun. Why not?
Why not?
So anyway, all of that to say, this is a thing that is happening.
Correct.
So this brings Deadpool into the MCU. We got some returning cast from the Deadpool movies, which most of them I do not remember at all. We have Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
Oh, sure.
Morena Baccarin as Vanessa, who's just so pretty.
She is.
Every time I see her in anything, I'm just so pretty.
Well, I remember way back in the Firefly days, there was a lot of buzz around her potentially playing Wonder Woman, in a Wonder Woman movie, prior
So then
to
they
Gal
went
Gadot.
with another obscenely gorgeous woman.
That's true.
That's fine. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Then we have Shioli Kutsuna as Yukio.
Hi, Yukio.
She is the one that I remember the most because out of anything in the Deadpool movies, which I end up liking more than I think I will, the Deadpool movies.
Sure.
But this Yukio thing with Deadpool is my very favorite
It's
thing.
really funny.
Every time, him just like turning into this like little girl, He's still like, yo.
Yep.
I love it. Stefan Kapicic came back as Colossus, which I never liked the Colossus from the Deadpool movies, but fine. I mean, it's good. They should have the original actors.
Yeah.
Cool. Great.
Yeah, but it was a weird take on it. I was also kind of disappointed in the last scene that Colossus and Wolverine don't interact at all. That would have been kind of cool.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Whatever.
Leslie Uggams is back as Blind Al, always hilarious.
Yeah.
Brianna Hildebrand is the Negasonic Teenage Warhead. She's also good.
Yeah, I don't know why they abandoned that relationship, because that is such a centerpiece to that first movie, and like for me was really the highlight of that movie was their interplay, and she's just been relegated to a cameo for 2 movies now.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's true. Then we have Rob Delaney as Peter, who I straight up do not remember. I remember the first time I watched Deadpool. This is the second time I watched Deadpool and Wolverine. The first time I watched Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, who is this? Who is Peter? What are we talking about? And you had to tell me, remind me who this was. I still don't. I have no memories of this man.
Yeah.
And the second time I was like, who is this?
But that kind of works with the character. He just shows up and is beloved. So,
but is he from the... So he's from the previous movies.
Yeah, when he assembled his little X-Force crew, Peter was just kind of like a regular guy who got pulled into it. And
I remember this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
it's
he's
funny.
back.
It's
Peter.
fun.
It's fun.
I don't know. I think it's true that Josh Brolin was not widely liked as Cable. Like, people didn't like that insertion in there, and so no Cable here. But I'm mostly disappointed about Zazie Beetz.
They mentioned Cable at some point.
Yeah, I think he kind of nods to people didn't like it, which I don't know. But Zazie Beetz not back as Domino, I think is a real shame.
Yeah, she was great.
She really was.
That was good.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, that's the Deadpool cast that is returning for this movie. We also have a lot of cast members from the Fox universe, particularly later in the movie when they're in kind of the, like, everybody's thrown away.
The void or whatever,
yeah, kind of a thing. But, so, Hugh Jackman, obviously, as Wolverine. Yes. We'll talk a lot, I think, about his portrayal of Wolverine in this.
I think we will, yeah.
Dabney Keene is back as X-23. I love her as
She's
X-23.
Really
She's fantastic.
Really good. You know, she was also great in Star Wars The Acolyte. She's Jackie.
That's right.
You know?
Oh, she's so fun.
She was a standout in that as well.
She has such a normalizing quality for the Star Wars universe in Acolyte. I think
she does.
Anyway, so Aaron Stanford is back as Pyro. I think he was my favorite draw from that universe.
Okay.
I just liked, like, he rolls in and you're just like, it's Pyro!
Yeah.
And I've always liked his portrayal of Pyro.
Yeah, it's a good take on the character.
It's a different take on the character, but I always really like it. He's just got a very, like, natural, like, kind of a, whatever, kind of a vibe. I like him. Tyler Mane is back as Sabretooth, which I thought was fun because, like, he's a kind of a nothing version of Sabretooth in the original X-Men movies.
Yeah.
But I liked having him back. Like, I thought
I did too.
It was good because, like, he feels more like a primal relationship with Wolverine than when you get into the whole thing with, what's his face?
Liev Schreiber.
With Liev Schreiber, who is obviously fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's a side of Sabretooth that is more heady.
Yeah.
And, like, he's his brother and, like, all this stuff.
I'd read that Tyler Mane and Hugh Jackman, like, hit it off in the first movie and have kind of stayed in touch. And
that's nice.
It was, you know, they were just like, hey, let's bring him back, you know.
Yeah.
And that was truly a cameo. I mean, that was probably the smallest of all the returns because that ends quickly. But... you know, there's just a little moment where Sabretooth is rolling in and Wolverine just kind of cocks his head and sniffs a little bit. And it just felt perfect.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I liked that.
So that was back. Then we've got several more people come, like the characters come back, but the actors themselves are different.
Yeah, and that's puzzling to me.
I don't know. Maybe it was just a scheduling thing. I don't know.
Maybe. It's just weird to me to have some of them be right and some of them be wrong.
Yeah. They brought back Juggernaut in the style of the Fox universe.
Right.
Blob, Psylocke, which was weird.
Very weird.
Not a... Like, why would they not have
Olivia
Munn?
I think Olivia Munn would have done it.
Probably would have done it. I don't know. It's weird. She gets a lot of screen time for not being...
Yes.
Anyway.
And, well, same with Juggernaut. I mean, Juggernaut becomes kind of an integral part of this, and I don't know, like...
Yeah.
I feel like Vinnie Jones would have wanted to do it, so that's what's so weird to me about it.
It is weird.
And Juggernaut was full CGI in Deadpool 2, and he was voiced by Ryan Reynolds. And so I think Ryan Reynolds, you know, Deadpool is like, you must be the third Juggernaut, which I guess they're kind of acknowledging but still. Lady
Deathstrike is there. You mostly only see her from a distance and kind of behind and stuff. And, like, she's such a visual character. You don't miss the actor as much, but obviously it would be nice to have her back. And Azazel is back. That's not the same guy.
No.
It looks like him.
I know.
He does a lot of just, like, bamfing
back
and forth for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
So that's that for the Fox universe. Then, from the MCU, we have Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan. We've mentioned him. Wumi Masaku as Hunter B-15 from Loki, which, do I remember that? Yes, I do. She's the one who was like a good soldier for a while and then sort of turned around.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And she's sort of in charge, it seems like,
right.
of the TVA at this point. Mm-hmm. Chris Hemsworth is sort of back as Thor. It's just it's like I guess they must have reshot something because it's him and
I think
Ryan.
that it is. I don't think it's new footage of Hemsworth. I think it's new footage of Deadpool cut in with some
just like inserted
Dark
in
World
there.
stuff. But I think that they are going to make good on that scene.
You think they really are?
I think so.
I wondered as I was watching, because it's a thing that Deadpool sees on the screen at the TVA, and it's not clear to me if that was intentional. Like if the plan was for the TVA to show him that and pretend that it was an accident, or if it was an actual accident that the TVA let him see that. But it's like some future where Thor is crying and holding Deadpool.
Yeah, he's like, why is Thor crying?
Dies or whatever. And that comes back multiple times throughout the movie. That's it from the MCU?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess most of the MCU representation is just like the concept of the TVA.
Right.
Then we have some others that will come up in the plot later. Jennifer Garner comes back as Elektra, and let me tell you, I saw some reels or whatever of her prepping for this role.
Yeah.
And it gave me a whole new respect for Jennifer Garner. Because Jennifer Garner has really leaned into the nice girl image for like a decade or so.
Those Capital One commercials are.
Yes.
Saccharine.
And so I loved Jennifer Garner in
Alias,
like from way back in Alias. Loved her. So fun and cool. And then she's just sort of lost the glimmer for me. But I saw those reels of her prepping, and I was like, she's like really doing this. She's juggling those, whatever those things are called with the pointy.
The size. And
so I'm back in with Jennifer Garner.
My takeaway from this, I was like, do I need to rewatch the Elektra movie? Because I feel like more than any of the others who kind of make up this little team, she just really hits it right.
She really does.
You know? And like, I haven't seen either of those movies in so long, but there's a whole 3 Nice Things episode about Elektra. So you can
I do feel like I
YouTube,
remember seeing Elektra and just really hating it. So I don't know if it's worth going
back.
as much as I liked her in this.
I don't really think it's probably worth it. I remember seeing that in theaters when it first came out, and I did the same with the Daredevil with Ben Affleck. And they are both good in those movies, but I just don't think the writing supports a good movie.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But it definitely made me want to see that again because she just goes for it. You know? It's like, who would have ever thought that she'd be back as Elektra? Now she's played Elektra in 3 movies, and like, I don't find fault in her performance in any 3 of those. So it's pretty impressive.
It's good stuff. The theme with these ones that are coming in here is that it's sort of, these are the ones who had movies that felt like they might be a franchise and then just didn't go anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Although, I mean, Blade had a trilogy, but yeah.
That's true. But I guess I don't know much about the Blade trilogy, but I guess the idea is that the vibes were he didn't get to go the distance.
Well, Blade Trinity brings in Ryan Reynolds as sort of like a comic foil character, and it's not well regarded by Blade fans. It's like the first, kind of like a Godfather situation. The first 2, everybody's like, great. The third one, it's like, why did you do that? And so, I think maybe that's probably what it is, like giving him a more proper.
Yeah.
But
so
yes.
Jennifer Garner is Elektra. Wesley Snipes is back as Blade. Chris Evans is back.
Yes.
We'll just leave that there for a second.
Oh, okay.
So then we got Billy Clements back.
Well, so this is a weird one. This is a weird one because Billy Clements plays the Russian, which is a Punisher villain. He's one of the main villains in the Punisher movie with Travolta and Thomas Jane.
Talking about things I haven't seen, I know absolutely nothing about the Punisher movies. I couldn't tell you a single thing.
Yeah. This one is pretty good. It feels very like a 90s action kind of movie. Thomas Jane is really good as the Punisher, and Travolta makes a great villain. And so they're pulling in this character who is also from the comics, but his design and everything, the red and white striped shirt, is designed to look like that movie. It's not the same actor. It was Kevin Nash in the Punisher, but Billy Clements is here taking on that role. But it's clearly an homage.
It's supposed to be from
to
that
the
movie.
Punisher movie, which I felt like was just an interesting and sort sort of deep cut.
So
because I think that's
don't remember this. Is he
movie.
just like sitting in the background, kind of?
No, when they roll in and it kind of pans through the villains and you see all of them, he gets a big moment where it's like, oh, it's that guy, and then he fights X-23, I think, in the big rumble towards the end. So he gets a decent amount of screen time, and it's just I appreciate that level of deep pull. I don't know why they didn't get the real guy, but
Part of what I really enjoy about this specific movie is it does these insanely far-fetched, like far-reaching cameos, and it's almost like its own take on the Marvel cameo thing.
Yeah.
But it's different because it doesn't feel like gratuitous cameos.
Yeah.
Even though they are rather gratuitous,
yes.
It feels more like honoring of this entire however long we've been doing these superhero movies before the MCU.
Yeah.
And that's sort of a theme in the entire movie with bringing in there's a respect for like the filmmaking and for like the legacy that is really funny to be getting specifically in a Deadpool movie. Like you can only have it because it's Deadpool.
Right.
Because you have to have that meta awareness of the whole thing. But it's also a level of seriousness, like taking it seriously that you wouldn't expect from Deadpool.
That's true. Yeah.
And I think they do that balance really weirdly well in this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just really like that. But that's not all.
Okay, let's keep going.
So that's all like our memory stuff. We also have new people coming in, which is fun and interesting. Emma Corrin comes in as Cassandra Nova, and she is so good.
She is.
I love her as Cassandra Nova. There are things that they do with the character that I don't as much like, but I think her performance is chef's kiss. I love it.
It's enough of like she just gums that scenery a little. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she doesn't do it over the top, but she's like, I am playing a villain role.
Yes.
And here it is.
And what I really like about it is that you really buy the full deep chaos of her motivations because she is doing things that are evil.
Yeah.
Sometimes because they're evil.
Right.
But then she'll also do things because she feels like it. She'll do things that are helpful because she wants to.
Right.
Like she's not captured by having to be evil 100% of the time. I mean, she is mostly evil, but like there's just something you really buy her portrayal of a person who can do anything.
Yeah.
And will just do whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Fits her a little bit.
I just really enjoy that. That's a really hard character.
Yeah.
To sell.
Yeah.
So and I think she really does. And like you buy, for instance, she has decided to stay in the void. She obviously does not need to stay in the void. Cassandra Nova is a reality bending character. She can do almost anything.
Yeah.
Maybe anything.
Yeah.
But she's decided, and Emma Corrin's performance, you buy it. You're just like, she would do that.
Stay in the void.
She wants to stay in the void. She doesn't have to. She's going to.
Right.
Whatever. Anyway, she is Charles Xavier's twin, but she died in the womb.
Right.
But because of her power, she sort of still exists.
Right.
It's like this weird thing.
Yeah.
And there's stuff in the comics where she sort of, I can't remember, does Xavier die or something? She takes over his body somehow and just is like causing chaos and things like that. I think, does she show up in the show? I feel like she does, but now I can't think.
I don't remember. This was so this is from the Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely new X-Men run that Eric loves so much. That's where this all began. And I have read that, and I've read a few things with her popping up in it, but I don't know this character well, and I don't remember her from.
I really enjoy this character.
Yeah.
I guess she isn't in very much, but she really stuck with me when I read her stuff. And it's just, I was really, really excited when she showed up.
Yeah.
Like there's something, I can't remember what exactly happened, what the first hint was that it was going to be Cassandra Nova, but I just like clocked it immediately and was like, yes, I am here for this.
Well, I mean, the reveal makes it seem like it's going to be Xavier or some version of Xavier because she's like seated.
I knew who it was.
But I think that was the goal, to kind of.
It was very fun. Yeah. I love that kind of reveal that is designed to be super rewarding for the few people who will see it. Is really rewarding.
Yeah.
So anyway, she died in the womb. Her vibe is very like sort of resentful and sad at the fact that Xavier does not know she exists.
Right.
Then we have Channing Tatum.
Yes.
Bless his dear, dear heart.
Channing Tatum.
Boy, does he do his darndest in this role. He's in here as Gambit, which it's fun to have Gambit. It's also sort of a nod to a long-standing... It was more than a rumor, right? That, he was going to be Gambit. It was going...
Back in when they were making X-Men Origins, there was talk of bringing him in to play Gambit in that. Like, it goes back deep.
So I think that it's another interesting kind of a meta thing, because Ryan Reynolds made Deadpool happen.
Right.
Because he had like a devotion to being...
He leaked that footage.
Yes, like a huge...
Yeah.
So he just like pursued the character of Deadpool. Channing Tatum has pursued the character of Gambit.
And it was going to happen. It was that Fox Disney merger that really like kicked it off the schedule.
Which I gotta tell you, I've been upset about people losing the like ability because of mergers and all that kind of stuff. I was so relieved when Channing Tatum was taken off the docket as Gambit, because as soon as I heard that, I was like, no, that's not right. It is wrong.
Yeah.
And I will say,
such a big, thick...
He's not the right type at all. And when you see it, you know it.
Yeah.
Because he does, I gotta tell you, an amazing job at portraying this like really like stereotyped version of Gambit. Like the way that he talks, the way that he moves. It's like he's going for the exact right stuff. But he is incorrect in his core to be Gambit. He's too big. Yeah. So when he does like the really acrobatic motions, it looks awkward. Yeah. Just because of his size. He can't help that. But it's true. And he doesn't there's something about he just seems nerdy when he does it.
It's true.
You know? Like he's just not a cool guy acting his heart out to be a cool guy.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things. I think, first of all, like 2009 Channing Tatum was like, that's pre-Magic Mike days. You know, he was a big guy, but he was not like the brick that he is now. You know what I mean? So that's like a little different.
But he's always been a dud type of a personality for me. Like he just seems like a jock and just like a meh. Like you don't bring him in for the acting, I guess is what I'm saying. And I'm sorry, Channing Tatum.
Really going for Channing Tatum today.
He seems like a nice person. Yeah. He really does. But like he just also seems like just sort of like a whatever kind of an actor.
I am curious to know and I don't want to see it, so don't take this the wrong way. But I would be interested to know if that movie had gone forward, if they would have gone with such a comic accurate, stereotypical, do exactly Gambit from the comic version, or if it would have been a little bit more of a take on Gambit. That it would have made sense to have Channing Tatum in that role. Like, would he be acrobatic and the big coat and everything like that? Maybe not.
I mean, we'll never know. But then, what would be the point?
I don't know.
Who was it who was Gambit in the Wolverine movie?
Yes, Taylor Kitsch.
Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah.
Taylor Kitsch, I thought was a good take on Gambit. You know, like I will allow Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah.
Like he's not the Gambit that I want, but maybe he's the Gambit I deserve. I think he's fine. He's a decent Gambit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Channing Tatum, good job, buddy.
Yeah.
You really went for it.
Well, it's just it's a miscast person playing it to the absolute best of their ability. And I agree. I gotta take my hat off to him.
He really goes for it.
Yeah.
Bless your heart, Channing Tatum.
Oh, and speaking of nerds in superhero roles,
Henry Cavill,
that's right.
The nerdiest of nerds.
He stopped playing World of Warcraft for a few
minutes.
Just
for a second
to film this cameo.
Be Wolverine, which I guess is just because... I mean, there were rumors of him being cast at some point.
I don't think there were ever any serious talks about that. I think it was
like a fan casting kind of a thing.
Well, I think like with the whole Zack Snyder like ousting and them not going forward with Justice League and no sequel to Man of Steel and all that stuff, and then they tell him to go announce that he's back as Superman. He films
I forgot about that.
That cameo in Black Adam,
when
which
he
is
was
amazing.
Finally good as Superman.
He was amazing in that Black
cameo.
Adam. And then it was like 2 days later, the whole James Gunn thing happened, and they were like, "Sorry, man, you're fired again." So I think there was just a lot of like fan outrage and like, "Well, we need a Wolverine. Let's have it be Wolverine."
Yeah, okay.
So I felt like this was a very like probably if this movie had happened a year either way, this would never have happened.
Yeah.
I think it's just
a time.
Yeah,
that's funny.
It's like fans. Well, it's kind of like, you know, in a way, John Krasinski showing up as Reed, and you know, we just talked about so much that, you know, for Multiverse of Madness, they were like, let's roll the dice.
And honestly, he was okay.
He was
better than I thought he would be as a Wolverine. I mean, it's just very, very brief, but he sells it.
Yeah, I think so.
Matthew McFadyen as Mr. Paradox from the TVA. I don't know if this is a character. I'm going to guess it's a character from the comics, but I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think
he just is called Mr. Paradox for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's fantastic.
He is.
He's like the villain, basically, for this movie. And he's just hilarious. He's just great.
He played this like he was in a very different movie, and yet it somehow worked perfectly.
Yes.
And I don't really understand how.
Yes.
So.
Like, it's a different kind of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entirely.
He's got like a middle manager vibes. He's great.
Yeah.
Blake Lively pops in for a second as Lady Pool, Inez Reynolds as Kid Pool.
Yep.
So it's
a family affair.
Kid, that's so cute. Nathan Fillion is Head Pool. I didn't know that.
Yep.
So he's just like a floating skeleton head.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey is in there as Cowboy Pool, which was funny to me because it could have just not been Matthew McConaughey because Matthew McConaughey is the easiest.
He's like the new Christopher Walken.
Yeah, you could just do a Matthew McConaughey. It could have been anybody, but it was actually him, and he was very funny.
Yeah.
Different body type, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, I don't think.
It's just his voice.
I think Blake Lively did film that scene as Lady Pool. I've seen conflicting things about that, so don't quote me. But
then we get to the plot.
Film, the movie
itself. So that was a lot, and actually feels very appropriate for a Deadpool kind of crowning achievement to get all of that in there.
Yep.
Okay. So the movie begins in a brief future. It's sort of like a Zach Morris kind of like, well, here's where we are. Let's see how we got here.
Right. Yep.
So the first thing we see is Deadpool desecrating the grave of the beloved Logan from the movie Logan.
Because that was as soon as this was announced, everybody was like, well, how are they not going to undo Logan? And Deadpool addresses that right away.
Just dives right in.
But he's also talking about, hey, it's been a while since I've been back, and we didn't know with Disney Fox what was going to happen. And, you know, so right away, acknowledging all of it.
And honestly, the Ryan Reynolds shtick has become strained over time.
Sure has.
As much as I do still enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's become sort of like a joke of itself.
Right.
He gets right back into the Deadpool thing, and it feels fresh to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel strained when he's doing his little monologues.
No, I think, you know, I am inclined to be jaded about it and be like, okay, here we go again. But the amount of clever, I feel like maybe this is the funniest of
I think
three.
It is, yeah.
But the way he hits some of these lines, that is like, you know, you got to like rewind in your head 3 seconds to be like, what did he say? And then you laugh and you're already like onto the, you know. Yeah. So he really, he nails it.
It's good stuff. So he has decided that he is going to dig up Logan, and it's a whole monologue about how he can't actually be dead. That's not how his power works. So this is ridiculous. I'm just going to dig him up. I'm going to put him back together. Everything's going to be fine. And so he does a whole thing. And it turns out that, he's super dead.
Yeah.
He is 100% dead.
Yep.
You just have, like, the adamantium skeleton. Mm-hmm. And so that's a fun thing, because they devote a lot of time at the beginning to, like, I know that we don't want to desecrate Logan, but we're going to desecrate Logan. And then ultimately, no, we can't.
Yep.
He's fine. He's just going to rest in peace. It's going to be great. However, rest in peace is a relative term.
Rest in pieces, I guess, by the end of this.
Because unexpectedly, the TVA shows up.
Yeah.
So the TVA is the Time Variance Authority, which I just pulled out completely out of
for
nowhere.
you, yeah.
As I was saying it, I was like, do I know what this stands for?
Can you get all of them?
It's the Time Variance Authority. So they come in with their little sticks that, make people disappear.
They're sticks.
And Deadpool promises he won't use his weapons, but then he has the skeleton of Logan, and he uses these adamantium bones to just slice and dice these TVA guys. And I gotta tell you, I didn't watch much of it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the violence for a minute, because I think this is more violent in a lot of ways than the previous two, but somehow
more palatable.
I don't know I guess because it's so over the top, and it never really and a lot of times, it's Deadpool versus Wolverine who just heal anyway, so like the stakes are super low, but there were moments in the first two Deadpools where I was like, oh my gosh, and I didn't really feel it so much, and watching it again I was like, but why?
It is interesting.
But something is different.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what. I don't have an answer to that. But somehow, the MCU Disney version of this made it so that it does not pull back on the violence, but somehow it's more palatable, and I don't really understand.
I mean, they got people whose job it is to do precisely that. So I guess they just figured it out.
All of this is set to bye, 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 we should mention.
Which, I mean, at one point during this scene, I kind of walked out of the room because I knew I wasn't going to watch it. And so I did something else in the kitchen, and I was just dancing along with the with the music. It was so fun.
The amount of times Deadpool's doing the actual choreography also was pretty funny.
Yes, that is very fun.
I was disappointed to learn that that's not Ryan Reynolds.
I was so disappointed.
Because he definitely could handle that.
He could have done that. Come on. But I guess they got a dancer to do it.
Yeah.
So good for him, I guess. Dance pool. Okay, so all of that gratuitous violence, horrible, whatever, he defeats the TVA people, and then it's sort of that Frozen thing, like, how did we get here? So we flash back to 2018, sort of a little past the second movie, I guess.
Yeah.
And MCU Deadpool is interviewing with Happy Hogan because he wants to be an Avenger.
Yeah, we're on the Avengers campus and everything. And watching this again, I was kind of picturing how it would go with Robert Downey Jr., and I was disappointed that it wasn't happening. But
I bet they would be pretty funny together.
I think they would, too. Either that or they would. I mean, probably they would be funny together and they would hate each other.
I think they probably hate each other. Well, okay, I will say Robert Downey Jr. would probably hate Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds would probably still idolize Robert Downey Jr., I think.
Maybe. But it's sort of like how we never got to see the Ed Norton Hulk and Robert Downey Jr. together. Again, I think they'd mix like oil and water, but I would have liked to have seen it.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau, I bet every day he thanks his lucky stars. I did. You're right. But I bet he is so happy that he made the choice to cast himself in the first Iron Man movie. Because
chauffeur or whatever.
Yes, because he's been in the Spider-Man movies.
He's the glue now.
He really is, which is kind of nice because I feel like, Kevin Feige, gets all the credit for the MCU and everything, but like, you don't have anything without that first Iron Man.
That is 100%
you don't have that
true.
First Iron Man without Jon Favreau and Robert Downey Jr. Like, it's just, it never would have happened. So I feel like in some ways, I mean, he's doing fine. The Mandalorian, all his Disney stuff, like, he's doing fine. But I feel like Jon Favreau doesn't always get the credit for being the true architect of that world.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, definitely.
Anywho, it's a fun scene, and it's just sort of like they're playing on Happy's own foibles, which we've seen, where he feels like he wants to be more important than he is and everything. Deadpool's kind of needling that. Favreau, is as an actor, he's clever and he's quick, so he keeps up with him in a good way. It's a good scene.
It's a good scene.
It is.
There, you get a level of earnestness you don't often get from Deadpool because he seems to genuinely want to be an Avenger. He seems to, like, his major motivation appears to be Vanessa.
Yes.
Because he is always just fine just being a merc, just like whatever, but she wants him to kind of achieve his potential or whatever. And finally he is motivated to do that for her. Happy doesn't see it.
No.
And so he finally just escorts him out and is like, find your place, but it's not here.
You know what I thought was an interesting omission? They poke fun at a lot of things. Like they joke about Hugh Jackman's divorce and things like that, which, that was pretty recent, right? Very recent when that happened. But there's never any jokes about Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson were married, and it was like kind of a bad...
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, but there's... I don't know. I guess I kind of thought when he's on Avengers Campus, he might be like afraid he's going to run into Black Widow. Like they didn't play with that at all.
Yeah,
which I
maybe
think,
that
to me is maybe Ryan Reynolds not wanting to
rock
revisit
that boat.
That.
Yeah. Okay, so can't be an Avenger.
It's a no.
This plants the idea that he wants to be more than what he is.
Yes.
But he's still not there. Then we cut to he's selling cars. He's like a used car salesman. And I can never quite figure out what they're doing with the product placement with these cars. Because it feels like blatant product placement, but then also they really badmouth the cars that they're talking about, but then they also
bad
sort of...
publicity is not a thing,
right?
So
yeah, that's a funny a funny way that they do that. But he's working with Peter. Peter and he are selling cars. Peter is trying to get Deadpool to do something Deadpool-y.
Right.
You know, but he doesn't. It feels like he wants to just be Wade Wilson. He just wants to be, like, he doesn't want to, but he feels like that's where he is
that's where
now
he's at
in life. He's stapling a toupee to his head to try to look normal, even though he's got, like, the crazy skin.
Right.
Then they head home. We get a hint that it is his birthday, and they open his apartment door, and surprise, it's a surprise party with all of his friends.
Yeah, you know, and he makes a point of saying, everyone I care about. He says that multiple times. And I guess I kind of wish there was some nod to the people that are not there, like, you know, TJ Miller or Cable or Domino.
But, like, he never really cared about those people.
Yeah, but I guess I wanted him to be like all the people we could contractually get or something like that, you know, because there are some weird omissions, you know. So
it's people from, like, both of the other movies.
Yeah.
All crammed together, including Vanessa, but they're not together anymore.
Right.
They've broken up.
Yes.
We haven't seen that happen, but apparently they are no longer together. There's kind of a long-running joke about how cocaine they can't talk about for Disney.
Yep. He says, Kevin Feige says that's off limits.
So, like, I don't know why that, I mean, I guess that's the joke. Why is it that? But, like, everything else they can do. But that comes up a couple times. Largely with Blind Al, because they do an elaborate thing where they have, like, euphemisms, like 100 euphemisms.
Yeah, and I'm sure that probably is like 10 times as long on some DVDs.
Probably, yeah. So it's pretty heartwarming, you know, like they seem to all really care. Yukio, of course, is there, and there's a lot of that cuteness that I always enjoy. Then there's a knock at the door. Wade goes out, and it's the TVA, all armored up.
Yep.
Lots of jokes about them being strippers.
Right.
But then they capture him, and they take him to the TVA. He wakes up, and he's in the TVA at some, like, lower level of the facility.
Yeah.
And Mr. Paradox comes in and starts saying all the right things. He comes in and he's like, I know that there's something special about you, and the higher ups in the TVA really see something in you, and, like, it hasn't come to fruition yet, but now's the time. You are ready, and you're going to be important, and we have the sacred timeline, and you have to save it, and it can only be you. And really just, like, lays it on thick, and Wade eats it up.
He sure does.
He is ready for this. So there's the meta stuff about him recognizing MCU and, like, all the money that is involved. Yeah,
he yells right to the camera. He's like, screw you, Fox, I'm going to Disneyland. And, like, punches the camera and stuff. It's pretty fun. He gets a whole new outfit, which looks exactly to me like his previous outfit. I'm sure that there are listeners who will be like, but he had a whatever. It was very similar for the amount of, like, what they put on it. The point is, like, the budget is so much higher that you get such amazing things. So he does it all up, and he comes out and he's like, I'm in on this. I'm going to be the core that connects these universes, and I am Marvel Jesus, is what he says. He does say it. He's standing kind of like, he's sort of accepted what he's going to do. Mr. Paradox is now, like, walking him through it. There's multiple screens. It's that old, like, 50s style thing that TVA does. Yep. All these kind of flickering screens. And one of them, you see this scene with Thor crying over Wade's body. And he's like, well, what the heck? I need to know what the deal is there. I must be awesome. Then Paradox tells Wade exactly the situation that they're dealing with, and things get a little more dicey. Right. Because he's not just unifying timelines. The situation is that Logan like, when he's Old Man Logan and he does that big sacrifice thing, he was an anchor for his world. Wait, is it the same world? It is the same world, the same as Deadpool's world. Okay, so in this, the Deadpool world and the Logan world are the same. Logan was such an important person, like, character in that world, that his death screws up the timeline, and it's going to die. Yeah. Mr. Paradox wants to make a name for himself with the TVA. He has megalomaniacal tendencies. He wants to eventually take over the TVA. This is his first step. And so what he's going to do, because he's not happy, in the Loki stuff,
we developed past the point of we just kill everybody in timelines that we don't like, and we start being more kind and generous and all this stuff. Paradox not cool with that. He's like, we're not going to let this thing just die over 100, 200 years. We're going to kill it.
It could play out, but they know it's inevitable that timeline will collapse, even if it's hundreds of years from now. Right.
So for whatever reason, he thinks this is the way to make a name for himself. He's going to destroy this, but he knows that, and I don't know how true this is, if this is just manipulation, but he says that the people above him view Wade still as very important. And so if he's going to destroy Wade's timeline, he needs to pluck Wade out of there. Right. Because he's still worth something.
Yeah.
Which I think is true, because I think that the stuff with Thor is real.
Right.
But anyway, so he's done that, and he, I guess, is trying to just convince Wade not to make it a big deal, basically. Like, to just let them, and they have what Wade calls a MacGuffin machine, which is, I can't remember what they called it.
It's like a time splitter.
Whatever machine to just chop the timeline, just kill the timeline.
Yes.
And he's basically like, just let us do that. And Wade's like, or... no, I'm not going to do that, because he has a picture that has from the birthday party that has all of his friends and everything. And he's like, I'm not going to let you do that because that's where my friends live. So no. And he tries to kind of like, deal with it.
Yeah, and he steals one of their little devices, and he's like, all right, if you need a Wolverine, I'm going to find a Wolverine. And he hits the device, and he goes through the door. And this gets us to the Wolverine montage.
Yes. So he's just, like, if Wolverine is an anchor person, then I'll just get another one.
He's going to pluck a Logan from the dying timeline, another dying timeline, and put it into his timeline to right the ship.
So then we have a fun little Logan montage.
Yes.
First one we see, Logan is sitting at a bar, and Deadpool's like, perfect. This guy looks perfect. Great. Come with me. And he hops down, and he's little.
He's like 5 foot. He's like the comic
He's like the comic guy.
This is the first time we see Hugh Jackman in the movie.
Yes, it's Hugh Jackman's head on a tiny little body.
Yeah. Can I say, I don't know if this is mean or not, but getting rid of, like, having Hugh Jackman's Wolverine have no gray makes him look so much older than when he was, like, in, like, Days of Future Past or something, where he was...
Hugh Jackman has hit the age where you can't hide it anymore.
No.
Like, and you don't have to.
That's what I'm confused about. Yeah.
Just
I think
lean
into it. He would have looked a lot better with like the salt and pepper and stuff. So that, just a nitpick, but I felt like, why?
Yeah. So, okay, Tiny Logan out. We can't have short people. They can't achieve nothing.
Of course not.
So then he flashes to another timeline, and there's he's like a kind of more animalistic type Wolverine. Yeah. This is the Age of Apocalypse, Weapon Omega Wolverine. Yeah. He's not workable. He's too crazy.
Yeah, he just like is trying to kill him over and over again. I recognize this immediately because I'm pretty sure I had that action figure.
Aw, so, that's so fun.
Yeah.
So not gonna do that. Got stabbed. Moving on. So he goes to another one, and it's like a suave Wolverine with an eye patch.
This was the one that I was most excited about because it opens up on like this glittery casino, and you see him from the back, and he's got the white jacket on, and he's got the eye patch, and so he's Patch. He's this like iconic Wolverine like alter ego, and I wanted that to be the whole movie. I thought Hugh Jackman looked great as Patch.
He really sells that
I really
look.
wanted to see like that happen. So, we don't get much of it, but it was very cool to see.
After that is when we have the Henry Cavill version.
So we get him from the back, and you see the big muscles,
and
he's got the white shirt. Yeah.
And Henry Cavill is more muscly than Hugh Jackman. So
definitely.
It's a little bit noticeable.
Yeah,
but
is.
They're showing that. I mean, like, no shade.
Right.
Hugh Jackman is
yeah, well, I mean, they're probably 30 years difference in their ages.
Yeah, so but anyway, that's not going to work. He's just not interested, basically.
Right.
Next one, we have Old Man Logan.
Yeah, this is more like we've done this a few times because like the Logan movie is kind of doing an Old Man Logan thing.
This
but not
felt like
really.
A more classic, comic, accurate Old Man Logan. Yes, and the look of it.
Yeah, because we sort of settle into a version of the Old Man Logan storyline, which really irritates me, so we'll have to get into that. But I think this, like, the porch and everything is very much like the Old Man Logan run.
Also not interested.
Right, yeah.
Then we flash into it's basically just the shot of the comic cover with Wolverine on the X, crucified on the X, from the Fever Dream storyline. There's nothing to that. It's basically just to see that image, and then Ryan Reynolds is like,
kind of funny. He's like, it's not you. We're just going in another direction. That was pretty funny.
Then we have Logan, who is fighting Hulk.
Yeah, and
that's just a brief thing.
It is. It's very brief. And Wade says, we got the John Byrne brown and yellow, because it is that classic look there. And
you
then,
get to see the reflection in the claws.
This was a much
Hulk flat in the claws.
Much more satisfying version of that than we saw in the X-Men 97 Great Expectations comic. I will say I'm a little disappointed that we have a Hulk here, and it's not like Ed Norton or Eric Bana or even like Lou Ferrigno.
It could have been anybody.
That would have been a really cool...
But it was just regular Hulk.
I don't think you really saw his face. I mean, you kind of saw the reflection.
Yeah, but the way that...
The physicality.
Yeah, it just looked very much just like
But
current.
that would have been a neat pull to get.
Just sort of an easy...
Yeah, just kind of motion cap one of those guys, 15 minutes in an afternoon, but... Still cool. Still cool to see Wolverine and Hulk like on screen together in live action. It's never happened, so it's cool.
Yeah. So then we get to our final Logan, who is going to be the Logan that we stick with for the duration. And this is such an interesting Logan for me, just to watch it happen. Because like you've seen like the different versions like very briefly.
Yeah.
But this is a sustained portrayal of a slightly different Logan than the original X-Men movies.
Yep.
And I find it fascinating that he manages to do that.
He really does
consistently.
Bring a different element to it.
Yeah.
That's for sure. When Deadpool approaches them, he just says very straight face, like, "Look, lady, I'm not interested." I don't know why. I think that was in the trailers, but that just kills me. Because he just delivers it so straight. Yeah. And there's no reaction to it. It's just very funny.
I think part of how it feels different is probably, I mean, like part of it I do think is Hugh Jackman's acting skill.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I don't often think about him being like a serious actor.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of things in this portrayal that it's like, oh, he's got chops. He's an actor.
Yep.
And I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
I also think a lot of it is his relationship with Ryan Reynolds. I just think he plays differently against him than any other person.
Yeah.
And I think that's fun. Yeah. And like that feels like an organic thing that like, I don't like what the lady.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. Whatever that was. That feels like something that would naturally occur in their interplay.
I think so.
So adds another layer to that different character.
While we're throwing people under the bus, you know how Tom Welling, who plays Clark in Smallville, is not the greatest actor in the world?
He's not at all, no.
But when Erica Durant shows up as Lois and they have scenes with just the two of them, suddenly he's like amazing and they have this
because they like hate each other.
Yeah, and they just have this like really great chemistry. And I don't know, it just sort of makes me think of that because it really is bringing out a different side, I think, of both of them. Like Ryan Reynolds is still like doing his like Mint Mobile commercials, but like there is just something that's more sharp when he's with Hugh Jackman. Yeah. So I like to see it.
It's like you and Eric.
Yeah. Let's call him.
Just call him. Let's get him on here. So anyway, this is the guy. He is not interested, but for whatever reason, he's who Deadpool is locked in on. He's like, this is the guy that I'm going to use.
Yeah.
And so he brings him back to the TVA. He brings Wolverine to Mr. Paradox and is like, okay, I got a Wolverine that we can replace the other Wolverine. Everything's solved. I fixed it. You're welcome. And Paradox is like, what are you talking about? That's insane. That's a stupid thing to do. You're an idiot. That is not a thing that would work.
He says, just to be clear, I would have accepted no other Logan, but you brought the worst Logan.
So we have this. We don't know why, but everybody in this Logan's universe hates him.
Right.
He's a garbage Logan, and he is bad. We all hate this Logan.
He's a garbage Logan.
He's a garbage Logan. So then Deadpool is not cool with this. He, it just, things escalate and ultimately Paradox prunes him, with the little things and sends him to the void. Yeah. Where all variants go.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that they went so hard into the
really hard
Loki stuff. Yes. And we never have Tom Hiddleston. We never have Owen Wilson.
I hadn't actually thought of that.
It's kind of strange to go because I feel like, I was never super big into Loki, and I feel like the first season was genuinely pretty well liked. And then after that, I don't know how into it people
Yeah.
were. By the end, I feel like it's like, please,
I think
please
a
stop.
lot of the deal with Loki is that it was at a point where people were done with the MCU.
Yeah.
But they were like, I mean, I'll watch it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tom Hiddleston definitely still had gas in the tank as
Yeah.
Loki, and it was an interesting thing to do. But I guess my point is, like, if like you would be more out of place if you hadn't seen Loki than if you hadn't seen the previous X-Men.
Definitely
or
true.
Deadpool
Or
movies,
Deadpool.
which is
you
so
didn't
weird.
need to see any of the Deadpool movies to
but,
get this.
But for this to hinge so hard on Loki is just kind of strange.
It is strange, but also like the TVA does present a unique opportunity to do what this movie needs to do.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, but also, yes, like it's very, very reliant on understanding the TVA. And they don't actually do that much explaining in case you don't know what's going on.
No, they don't. But I guess there's a certain amount of like, it's time travel and we watch over time travel. That's
you know what I mean?
True. It is kind of a trope, but yeah, they don't give you much.
But anyway, so now Deadpool and this other version of Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman, they're now in the Void. The deal with the Void is that this is where they send the variants so that they don't immediately destroy them or kill them. They send them here, and then this thing called Eliath kind of goes around and cleans up the trash. And so people who are there will survive for a while. Sometimes they'll hide out and they'll build lives for themselves.
Right.
But they're always under threat from Eliath finding them and just wiping them from existence.
I think that, going back to what we were just saying about Loki, they give you nothing on Eliath.
Yeah.
And I sort of remember that there's a lost, like, smoke monster in Loki, but, like, when that was coming up, and I think Deadpool even says, like, oh, from Loki season 1, episode 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
But they don't really explain what it is or what it's doing or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
I think the main point is that it's a threat.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I think that there are a lot of things in this movie that require intricate understanding, but also don't.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you understand it, great. And if you don't, it's just like, I don't know, it's bad. They don't want to be near it.
Right.
So this is the reason they're running.
Yes.
Is that.
So we show up in the Void, and instantly it's a rumble. They're fighting about this. Like, they're mad right away.
Yeah,
and I feel
Deadpool and Wolverine are fighting each other.
Deadpool and Wolverine. And they kind of, they're like, finally, we're going to do it. You're going to see it.
Yeah, they really build up the fight.
Because you remember in X-Men Origins, like the Logan versus Wade thing at the end when he's like, his lips are sewn to, it's such a stupid thing that like nobody counts that. And so they really are giving you what you want, and they really acknowledge that in the screen. And
they really do the poses.
Oh,
like Wade has a whole thing with like getting the bullets in his gun in a cool way, and Wolverine does his like stance and like.
And it was, you know, in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Peter Quill has that one F-bomb, which is expertly placed. It's so funny in that movie. And it was such a big deal that the MCU had an F-bomb in it. This movie, it's like noteworthy when somebody is not saying the F-word.
It's definitely true. It is constant.
So, and Wolverine, you know, kicks it off right from the start, which I don't know that he even did in Logan, which was rated R. I don't remember. But maybe.
I don't remember. I feel like he did, but I don't remember.
All right. Anyway, a lot of F-bombs. And they're fighting. You see, like, the 20th Century Fox logo.
That's right. Yeah, it's like sinking into the ground.
There's lots of little Easter eggs in this scene just in the background. So we're fighting.
Do they stop fighting, or does something just...
Well, this is where he really drives home, like, look, if we team up, we can go back and fix your world.
He says the TVA does time travel, this, they have the power to go back in your world and make whatever thing happened not happen.
Right.
Like, he's basically, like, super promising this.
Yeah.
So they sort of decide to have a grudging truce over this. And then somebody's coming.
Yeah, you don't see who it is at first. He, like, drives up, and it looks very Mad Maxy, and Deadpool does a lot of Mad Max jokes, which was fun.
Stuff, yes.
So
he's got, like, a big hood on and everything. Who is this? And then, like, he arrives, and he's sort of like, everything's fine, whatever. And then you see a whole mess of Mad Maxy-looking things coming. And so it's like, some danger is arriving.
Yeah.
And this mysterious man is like, I got this. I'm going to handle this. And he takes off the hood, and it's Chris Evans.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds freaks out. He's like, this is the guy.
Yeah.
He's going to handle this. This is amazing because Captain America is going to handle this whole thing. It's going to be amazing. Awesome. Yes. And he acts like it. Like Chris Evans is like, I got this. And, you know, I'm the man. when it comes time, like I guess the bad guys come and they're like surrounded or whatever. And Chris Evans says, like he builds up to say a line.
Yes, and Deadpool is like, he's going to say it. And he's like, Avengers, and then Chris Evans says,
Flame on!
Flame on, because he's the Human Torch.
He's the Human
Torch. Fox
Torch.
duology of Fantastic Four movies.
Which was very funny. This was a really funny way to do this.
Yeah.
So he's flamed on, blah, blah, blah. One of the guys in the Mad Maxi things is Pyro, and I recognized him. Like, he's a recognizable presence there. And so Johnny Storm, who has flamed on, blasts him with fire, and just delightfully, Pyro is just like, yeah, I'm just going to take
He's
that.
just pulling the fire, yeah.
So he just, like, absorbs all of the fire, and then Chris Evans falls hysterically from the sky, hits all of the things, and like...
Well, he hits himself in the crotch. You have to, you know... we gotta get that in there.
Very funny. Testicle jokes abound. And then he's just down for the count.
Yeah, and we're all captured.
And, they capture them, and we discover that these guys work for someone. So, Pyro has defeated Human Torch.
Yes.
Which... would happen. And Sabretooth from the original X-Men movie is also on this, group of cars. And Wolverine, we have a moment of him, like,
this is the cool moment where it's very much locked in.
Recognizing the Sabretooth and, like, oh, what's going on here? And then they fight for, like,
a second? Like, they run at each other, and that's all it is.
Yeah. So, basically, Toad magnifies something, and they just are sucked to the magnet, and that's it. Like, it's not a hard thing, because when you have metal bones, sometimes it's easy
that could be a problem.
You.
That could be a problem. So they're being taken back to the base. They don't know who they're going to meet. They don't know what's going on. And we see just a bit of a scene with Johnny explaining to the others, like, this is what's going on with the Void. You're either food for Eliath or you work for Cassandra Nova.
No. He says you work for her, because we still don't know who this is.
Oh, right.
So you're either food for Eliath or you work for her.
Right.
Whoever her is.
And we don't know.
That's
right.
So they drive across the void, whatever. It's like a desert.
Yeah.
And you come up on Ant-Man's body.
Yeah, when he's in giant man form. Yeah.
So, like, his arms are stretched out, and that's like a courtyard for this base or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, inside his skull is, like, offices, I guess. I don't know. So, anyway, that's just a fun little, morbid, obviously.
Well, yeah,
but a little
Deadpool
nod.
Is like, wow, age finally caught up to Paul Rudd.
That was funny. So they pull into the arms to the base, and we see the Russian guy or it's just the Russian is what he's called. Okay, from Punisher. Azazel is there, probably only because of how recognizable he is.
Probably, yeah.
Juggernaut's there with kind of a tiny little
That's the X-Men.
helmet.
That's the Last Stand look. That's what he looks like in Last Stand.
I think it's silly.
It is silly.
Psylocke, not Olivia Munn Psylocke, just this other Psylocke.
A different Psylocke. And then, this is lots of little cameos here. But
yeah, you just like a pan around, see everybody. Then you have like the big entrance of the big bad and kind of wheels out in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And you only see it from behind. And Deadpool's just sort of like, oh, it's Charles. Hey, Charles, how's it going? But then it's not Charles. She stands up, but it's Cassandra Nova, and she's like, yeah, see, I'm not Xavier. And she just tells the whole story.
Right, which is helpful. It's
very helpful because she's kind of an obscure character, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So she starts to present all of her various powers because she's like gesturing and like making crazy things happen. This is a little disappointing about how they deal with her powers because almost all of what she does is basically telekinesis.
Right.
Like she'll just like gesture and something will fly in a direction. There's a lot that you can do with Cassandra Nova's power. And like there are small things that they do that it's like, okay, that's pretty interesting. Like she puts her hand through people's heads and like does weird like warpy things. Yeah. But that's basically it. Like most of it is telepathy and telekinesis, which interesting, but not that interesting.
Yeah. Well, we've seen it before.
Yeah. So, but anyway, she's like demonstrating her power and how she has control over this entire situation. And as she's basically going to like conquer them or whatever, Deadpool starts bad-mouthing her and saying all of these horrible things about her and pretending that Johnny Storm had said those things.
Right.
And Johnny Storm is like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't
know what those things mean.
And she just rips his skin off.
Right.
She just rips his skin off, and like that's the end of him.
He's dead.
It's very graphic and horrible.
It is. They had Chris Evans for about 25 minutes, I feel like.
Yes. So he's dead. Wolverine is disgusted that he got Johnny Storm killed.
It's a very cool costume for Johnny Storm, by the way. It's not exactly the Fox costume that he had. We get the top, the Fantastic Four shirt, and he has more of like a utility sort of like dark cargo pants on. His hair is cool. I just think it's a very neat look for the Human Torch.
It's a good showing.
Anyway, continue.
So anyway, she's demonstrated this awesome power. Then she goes to Wade and like sticks her fingers in and, you know, is like sort of she's like reading his mind and also sort of manipulating his senses and stuff. And she sees like his vulnerabilities and stuff. So like we see the moment that he and Vanessa break up, which is basically, it seems to be, she wants more from him, and he sort of forces you don't want me, so I'm just, he like makes her end it, kind of, like pretending that it's her doing it. The coward's way out. But they have broken up, and that's a whole thing. And then Cassandra gets Vanessa to say something like, you're a failure, or something like...
You'll never do anything important, or something like
and so she's just trying to kind of like screw with him. She is doing this, and it seems like she has won. And then Wade is like, well, ha ha ha, we got you because we just distracted you. And now Wolverine has come up behind her and like stabbed her. And it's like, they got her while she was distracted. But as it turns out, that does not matter because, again, she controls reality.
Right.
So she is not dying at all.
No.
She's just healed immediately and everything is fine. They are sort of coming to a head with, like, I think she's sort of trying to decide if she's going to recruit them or just kill them. But Eliath arrives and kind of just scraps that, and she's just sort of like, you know what, I'm just going to let Eliath have you. And then they start to kind of pack up their camp and move on. Luckily for us, Deadpool manages to... What is it? They like launch themselves with something.
Wolverine jumps on what
That's
I
right.
think is
it's the foot of a sentinel.
Sentinel foot. Yeah.
I really liked this moment because he goes straight for it and seems to know exactly how to handle it because he's worked with them before, and I liked that. So he and Deadpool escape on the foot of a sentinel, and they just launch off without any control. They just crash some distance away. Because this is the void from the Loki universe, it is filled with just like random buildings and structures and stuff. So where they land, they're nearish to an old diner. This was a very specific diner, and I didn't recognize anything, but I wondered if it was a thing.
Maybe it didn't stand out to me.
Like
I don't
this
know.
was like a
Easter
egg.
Could be.
So if it was,
Easter egg. Wolverine starts digging through all of the drawers, and you don't really know what he's looking for. And then he finds a first aid kit, and he pulls out rubbing alcohol. And Deadpool's like, don't drink that. And he just starts like taking hits of the rubbing alcohol because he's a raging alcoholic.
Because he needs to deaden the pain.
Yes.
The pain inside.
Yes.
So this is sort of a quiet moment where they sort of connect a little bit more. Deadpool talks about the whole Vanessa thing. And
he's like, I was rejected by the X-Men and the Avengers.
Yeah. So now he's sort of trying to like pep up Logan. He's like, you were an X-Man, and like
you were the X-Man.
X-Man, and like it's these people, and it's a nice moment of like how great the X-Men are, and they're so honorable and all this stuff. But
he's explaining a little bit about how Wolverine saved Laura and allowed her to like grow up and all of this stuff, and it's not landing for Logan. He's like, yeah, well, I'm a mess.
Yeah. So that just sort of happens. I guess it's just sort of to kind of further some character development. Then they go outside and someone is arriving, walking, I guess.
Well, Dogpool. We see Dogpool running into the shot.
Yeah, so we see Dogpool running. I love dogs. This is a horrible dog.
It is
just a horrible dog.
It is.
It's like, I guess, a Chihuahua maybe, and he's got like a super droopy tongue. It's like one of these horribly
shaved, like he doesn't have hair. He's hairless. He's got a little bit of fluff like on his head and stuff.
Yeah, this is a specific breed of dog that I've seen before, but I'm not sure what it is. But it's love at first sight. Like he leaps into Deadpool's arms, and Deadpool is just like beside himself. He loves this dog. This is the best dog he's ever seen in his life.
All of Hugh Jackman's reactions to this dog are so funny to me because he's just in the background and he's like, "Oh my gosh." But it almost feels genuine, like he really was grossed out by this dog.
It's a gross dog.
So it's funny.
So he's like devoted to this dog, and then up runs the dog's person, who is Nice Pool.
Yeah.
Which is like a hyper Canadian long-haired version of Deadpool. Just Ryan Reynolds.
No mask. Yeah, we see just the Ryan Reynolds face.
Yes, and he's just he's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And then this commences sort of a little battle between the two Deadpools because they both want the dog.
Right.
They tell Nice Pool what their mission is, which I guess is to get back to the TVA or whatever. They have to defeat
the Badlands. They know that the resistance is in the Badlands, so they want
the resistance to Cassandra Nova.
Yes.
Right. Yep. Okay. Is in the Badlands, so they need to get there. They're like, "Do you know where it is?" And Nice Pool is like, "Of course, I know exactly where it is, and you can borrow my car." Mm-hmm. So they go into the woods and find his car, and it is a Honda Odyssey, which Deadpool finds disgusting.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yep.
But they take it and they drive. But they run out of gas or something.
They're driving, and Deadpool's making conversation, and he's like, "So what are you going to do? What's the first thing you're going to do if the TVA can fix your world?" And Wolverine stops the car flat, and he's like, "What did you say?" Mm-hmm. And Deadpool repeats it, and he's like, "Did you say if?" And so then this becomes like a huge fight.
Yes.
And
because Logan's like, "You lied to me," and Wade says, "No, I made an educated wish."
Yeah. There's a funny little thing here where they hit the car speaker when they start to fight, and The Greatest Showman starts playing just for a second.
Just da da da.
And then it settles on "You're the One That I Want" from Grease with Travolta and Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, and then they're just fighting, and it's just a, I'll say fun. It's gross and horrible, but it's they're staying in the car and doing all kinds of like creative ways of stabbing each other in the car.
I don't like this or get this. Like I guess just to have them fight more.
That's it.
Okay. I just didn't think it was funny, and I didn't think it was particularly clever. So
yeah, but they fight, and like the sun goes down, the sun comes up. They're fighting for a long, long time. You wake up in the morning, and I think they're asleep. Wolverine is asleep, and Wade is like wrapped up
completely
in
tied up
more seatbelts than exist in a car. He's just completely wrapped up.
Someone gets in and fires up the car and takes them somewhere. We don't know who it is. But we find out that we're back at the base. This is a resistance base.
The resistance found them.
Right, the resistance
and brought them back to the base.
Yeah. And you see the big statue from Multiverse of Madness that is Wanda. So they must be in that place. They mean some version of that. I'm going to say that this means they've undone the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, the Multiverse of Madness doesn't.
We're back to the Wanda version of those characters.
Yes. Then we get the big reveal. Like Deadpool and Wolverine are in the place, and then the people who are in the resistance just walk in dramatically.
One at a time. Yep.
First it's Elektra, then it's Blade, and then it's Gambit.
Yep. And so I'm not a big fan of these movies, but I know that Wesley Snipes did not like Ryan Reynolds. It was like a thing. He resented him being in the movie, I think. And so he's like, "I don't like you." And Ryan Reynolds is like, "You never did," which is pretty funny.
Then the last one to come in from like the other side is Laura, as it's X-23.
Yeah.
Laura, she's older, obviously.
Yeah.
And she sort of seems like the voice of reason, like almost the leader of this group.
Yeah.
I guess she must be the one that brought them.
I think she is the one that brought them, yeah. And they're kind of going through and explaining all the things that happened. They're like, Punisher died, Quicksilver died, Daredevil died, and Deadpool is like, "Daredevil, oh, I'm sorry." And Elektra is like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because that's where she and Ben Affleck got, like Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck got together during those movies. And of course now they're divorced. And I just thought.
Yeah, her delivery was pretty good.
It was great, yeah.
Then, and Johnny was the last one to go and try to take on Cassandra Nova, and we haven't heard anything from him.
Yeah.
And Deadpool's like, "Yeah, I'm sure whoever that is doing fine. I'm sure he's thriving," which is funny.
And Wolverine outs him. He's like, he got him killed, and All that to say that they are like, we have to make a run at Cassandra Nova. And Elektra's kind of like, okay. And the rest of the team reluctantly gets on board, but Logan is like, we'll have fun, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and you get kind of a classic feeling scene where the night has arrived. Logan is sitting by a fire, like outside, and X-23 comes up and Logan's like, I'm not looking for company. And she's like, whatever. And she sits with him. And they have kind of a motivational thing where, like, Logan is trying to push her away, and she's like, well, the Logan I knew did everything for me and whatever. And he was, like, not the guy, but then he was the guy. He was there when we needed him. And she's basically priming him to surprise everybody by helping.
I thought that this was a really nice scene because this is the X-23 from Logan. You know, we're seeing her as an adult. You know, this whole thing is... She's like, I got to grow up because of you. Lots of people got to grow up because of you. And it is like a genuinely... There's no jokes in this scene. It is a very touching scene that feels like just a little bit of an epilogue to Logan, which is really nice. It's all well delivered.
Yeah. And this Logan is very used to, by this point, the idea of him being the worst Logan.
Yeah.
And so when she talks about the noble deeds of her Logan... It almost sort of digs him in deeper because he's like, but I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Like, he was noble and I'm the worst one. I suck.
Right.
And so we get a little bit of what happened and why that his world hates him and all this stuff. And it's a version of something that happens in the comic.
Yeah.
Kind of a neutered version of what happened in the comics. Yeah. The idea they're nodding to the version of Wolverine that basically killed the X-Men.
Yeah, he's like under...
Not basically. He did kill the X-Men.
Yes,
he didn't know they were the X-Men.
This is like the Old Man Logan origin where he is under some spell and he thinks that the X-Men, like he's fighting who he thinks are the villains, and it's actually the X-Men. And he's got someone...
And in the mansion. Like, he thinks the mansion is being invaded.
Right.
And so he's fighting them.
And so he's, in the comics, he has killed Jubilee, and as she's dying, she's like, why are you doing this? You were one of us. And he snaps out of it and realizes that he's killed all the X-Men, and Jubilee is dying, like, in front of him. And so that is why Old Man Logan is like, forget it, I'm out of here. In this, he just wasn't a team player. He left the mansion. They were attacked and overrun and killed. And when he came back, he kind of went berserk and killed lots of people. So he's not directly responsible for the X-Men's death in this world. And I'm just like, I don't think that is nearly enough motivation.
No, and I don't understand why they did it. I don't know if, like, Disney came in and was like, well, that makes him way too
is it that he's
unsympathetic?
Irredeemable? Yeah.
But it takes a lot away. It takes, like, a lot away. But I think they think that it's good because he ends up killing people. But, like, anyway, a lot of it is just him talking about how he had to make sure that they didn't think he wanted to be part of the X-Men. And while he was off being a loner, his friends were killed.
He says a lot of things here that I feel he says, I just couldn't let them know that I wanted to be there. And I felt like that was a really poignant moment. And he kind of nods to this. I think she mentions the suit, and he says, Scott used to beg me to wear the suit. And something about that was, like, emotional. Yeah. It just really felt like...
Well, he uses their names when he talks about the X-Men. He doesn't say Cyclops or whatever. And he says, like, Charles. Yeah. It's personal. Yeah. And this is a moment that I see the acting of Hugh Jackman. Like, he really sells these emotions.
But it's like in this moment, he manages to lock into the Wolverine that we know. He, somehow, like, he kind of taps into that for a minute there when he's talking about the other X-Men. And this happens later with Cassandra Nova. But when he's getting serious to talk about the X-Men, it hits. It lands so emotionally well.
Yeah. But the way it ends, X-23, Laura, stands up, and he's still convinced that he's not going to do anything. Yeah. And he said, I'm not the right guy, or something like that. And as she's walking away, she just says, you never were the right guy. And that's where it cuts for that part.
So that's probably the last we'll see of him.
Probably the last we'll see of him.
I would guess.
Cutting back to the TVA, we see Mr. Paradox talking to Pyro.
Which is a bit of a reveal that those two characters are in cahoots.
So what's going on there, we don't know. Pyro's like a plant, basically.
Yeah, he's keeping him up to speed about what's going on with Nova and the Void.
So then we have, in the Honda Odyssey, the Resistance group with like Elektra and all of them.
Yes.
Just go for it, because they've decided that what they're going to do, because they don't have Charles's helmet, because like if they
Magneto's helmet.
Magneto. Yep. If they had Magneto's helmet, they could put that on Cassandra Nova and depower her, and well, he's dead. So.
That's a funny scene too, because there's a couple times where Deadpool's like, "Oh, is it Magneto?" And they're like, "He's dead." And he's like, "Come on!" And he's like, "But his helmet has to be around. She destroyed it." Like it just keeps amping up. And then they realize, well, Juggernaut has one as well.
Yeah, so we could use Juggernaut's helmet.
Go get Juggernaut's helmet.
So that's their plan. They're just gonna go straight to the base.
Yeah.
Fight a bunch. Get Juggernaut's helmet, put it on Cassandra's head.
Yeah.
That'll solve the problem.
There's a lot of funny Channing Tatum lines, and there's a lot of things about Ryan Reynolds being like, I just cannot. He's like, who is your dialogue coach? The Minions? And he has a bunch of things where he's not understanding.
Which is funny, because like I don't speak French. I'm not an expert in like Louisiana Creole, any of that stuff. But it sounds legit to me.
Yeah, it does sound
like
pretty
good. It's funny to like specifically go after the coach.
Yeah.
Because I would say he does a really good job. Like a weirdly good job. Like you definitely can't understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
But it's like because his accent is so genuinely thick.
You get the gist. When they roll in on the Void, he says, "Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself." Yeah. And that was like briefly a meme. Like that had its moment. And that is really funny. It's good delivery. So yes, they roll in, and we get really heroic moments from all of them. Elektra's doing the sword play, as you mentioned, and Blade is really going for it. He has a whole thing about how there's only been one Blade, and there'll only ever be one Blade, which seems true more and more as the Mahershala Ali movie.
He's got a good, I haven't seen those movies, so this is probably just a thing that people know. But the way he has like the half smile that reveals the vampire thing, he's good.
Yeah, he is.
He's got a good look.
It truly. I mean, if the goal here was to give these characters a better send off, it really happens.
It really works,
because they never go for laughs with these people. Mm-hmm. They are serious. They are cool. They are like right for both the comics and the movies.
You get all like for Gambit, you get the really classic. Like he uses the bow staff to like hold him while he kicks somebody. Yes. That's a classic kind of a thing. He does the thing where he like arcs the cards and then like do and stuff. Like you get they were doing it specifically. They were like, you have to do everything that is classic in this scene.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the dedication to that. So while the team is holding the line, Deadpool and Wolverine are making their way to Cassandra Nova, and she gets right into Wolverine's head, like right away.
And this is a very different thing, because like when she went with Wade, it was very chaotic in his mind. When we get into Logan's mind, it's very quiet. Yeah. It's like a field of grain kind of a thing.
But there's sort of a murmuring. There's kind of like a white noise to it.
And then there's a line of enormous monuments.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cool because like these are not gravestones. It's not like a very like visually.
Yeah.
It's not this like stereotype kind of a thing.
Yeah, the obvious thing would be to put him in a cemetery.
Right. But ultimately they are gravestones.
Yeah.
Like they're monuments to the people that he has lost or has killed or whatever.
Has failed.
So the idea is that this murmuring is just constant in his mind, and it's just these people that he feels responsible for their deaths in whatever way. And it's just a constant torment. And this is another really good scene. Like it's just the two of them walking very quietly in this like very stark, interestingly designed setting. Mm-hmm. And talking through this, and you get a little bit more of the story. Like I think initially what we had heard was that he had failed them and that they had died, but now you get a little more detail because Cassandra's sort of coaxing it out of him, and he says the thing that like they were attacked while he wasn't there, and when he found them, he just started indiscriminately killing everybody. And she was like, well, I mean, you went after the bad guys, and he was like, no, not the bad. He just like was blind murdering everybody that came across him. And the idea there was that he had turned public opinion against, he says the X-Men. I think it would have to be mutants in general.
Yeah.
because so he's so hated because it's like this public thing, and like
he undid all the progress they had made by doing this. And he's saying that he just wants to be what Charles wanted him to be. Like the version of him that Charles thought he could be is what he wanted. And now he just wants to be free from all that. And she hushes everything. And it's like chills up your spine kind of a moment, because
it's suddenly silent.
Because like you don't even realize that there is noise. Yeah. And then when it's gone, it's stark.
Yeah. Because I think she's recruiting him, she's like, I can make that all go away. Yeah. And she does. But then in a turnaround from what had happened when she was in Wade's mind, while she's distracted with Logan, and she thought that Deadpool was sort of out of the picture, the people on the ground who are fighting, Elektra and all of them, X-23, I think, is the one who gets the bag. They're kind of passing the bag around of what has Juggernaut's helmet in it. Yeah. And then finally X-23 throws it, and Deadpool catches it. So now
you think she's going to get out of danger, and so she gets pulled back in at the last minute, and she hucks the bag, and it still makes it. So it's kind of cool.
So while Cassandra is distracted, Deadpool puts the helmet on her head.
So I thought this was, like, I didn't see this coming. Usually when you see this, it's like somebody puts the helmet on and then the telepath can't manipulate them anymore. But the fact that they put it on her head to completely shut her off, I thought was kind of a different approach and, like, obvious. I mean, that's smart, but I didn't think of it. And I thought it was kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah. So she is immediately, there's, it's visually apparent that she is losing her power. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, they're trying to talk her into sending them back to the TVA, I think.
Basically,
to, like,
get them out of the void. So
fix the problem. Because they know that he's going to kill all those people.
Right.
Blah.
Right.
But before they can convince her, because she says, if you want me to help you, I can't do anything while I have this helmet on. So she's just sort of delighted with this dilemma that they've put themselves in.
And she's also very open to, if you take it off, I'll just kill you. So, I mean...
Yeah. So anyway, while they're having this whole conversation, Pyro just bursts in and shoots her. Like, a lot.
Yeah. A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
And she can't heal herself, and so she's dying. Okay, so Pyro shoots her, and she starts dying. Wolverine knocks him out. Oh, because he starts to do a monologue. About how, like, she was controlling everything, and she's not going to control it anymore. Yeah. Wolverine just, like, knocks him out mid-sentence and is like, not everybody gets a speech.
Yeah. Pretty good.
So then we have another rather moving moment, because she's got the helmet on, and as long as they leave the helmet on, her wounds will kill her. And so she's just dying before their eyes. Yeah. And Deadpool is like, I'm just going to snap her neck unless you want to kill her. Yeah. And he's like, no, I'll just do it. And Wolverine's going to do it. But then I don't know what triggers the change, but he sort of decides that, like, he commands Deadpool to take the helmet off so that she can heal herself. Yeah. And he's like, she will kill us. That's crazy. And Wolverine is, like, really insistent, like, yelling at him, like, you have to take this thing off. And then we get a kind of monologue from him.
Yeah, well, she says something about how Charles really loved him. And Wolverine is like, he loved all of us,
Yeah, and he talks to her too. He says, like, if he had known that you existed, he would have loved you too, and he would have done anything.
Would have stopped at nothing to get you,
to come and save you or get you, whatever.
Yep.
And it's just played completely straight. It's very serious and moving and everything. And I think that the actress, whoever, Cassandra's portrayal, like her response to that feels really genuine. It's like this... It's like the pain of what she feels was rejection from Charles really feels like the core of her psychosis. Right. And she just conveys it so well.
She does.
And so it's like you see this, like, glimmer of, like, genuine pain underneath all of her, like, crazy. And Wolverine says, like, when I'm wearing this suit, I am an X-Man. And I can't just let her die. Right. I can't just watch a person, anybody, die. And so we're going to take that helmet off of her so she can regenerate, I guess. Whatever. Yeah. So he convinces Deadpool, they take the helmet off, and she heals and is completely fine and is immediately back to her, evil self. But for whatever reason, I guess she's sort of like, she plays it off as like, no, I'm still evil, but it does feel like Wolverine got to her with all of his Charles talk.
Yeah.
Eliath is coming again, and
right.
so now things are, it's...
And this is a thing from Loki that I totally remember.
Eliath was a thing from Loki. Yep. And Eliath is on his way, and so everything is very hurried. And she makes... What does she do? She makes a... Oh, she got a one of those travel
she says
rings.
She saw an amateur magician. She killed him, but she found this, and she pulls out a sling ring from Doctor Strange.
And so she does the cool thing with making the circle with the sparks, and Deadpool is delighted by being able to see this.
I wasn't sure if she was saying that she killed Ned from the Spider-Man movies because he ends up with one, or if she's saying she killed Doctor Strange or just some random, I don't know.
She said a magician. I guess I feel like it has to be somebody who really looked like a magician, like in the outfit and stuff. I assume it's Doctor Strange.
All right.
She could definitely kill Doctor Strange. Yeah. Don't at me. So she does the sling ring thing. They have to jump.
Yeah.
And it's like Eliath is coming, and they have to jump toward Eliath to get through the portal. Long story short, they do. They get back.
And you see, like, the whole team is like, seems like they were gonna lose, but then they're kind of like winning. And
that was a cool thing.
There's a great, because you thought, oh,
it seems like you're seeing their dramatic deaths.
Yeah.
And like this is
even Laura. Like
this is their final, like, they are interesting deaths, and so it feels very much like this is the way that they go out. But then the next scene they're like rising and they're like fighting back,
and so they're watching this happen. They're watching Deadpool and Wolverine, like, in Eliath's mouth is going over the sling ring portal just as they're jumping into it. So it's
cool.
It's visually a cool thing, and they make it back to Deadpool's timeline, and we're back at the car dealership.
Yes.
But in the void, we see Pyro coming too, and he's basically fessing up to Cassandra that, like, he has this connection with the TVA, and, maybe they could do something here. So
she kind of acknowledges there that, like, she and the TVA had an understanding.
Right.
That they just keep sending her things to play with, basically, and she'll just, like, chill there.
And now she's not so much into that and wants to go back and learn how to use this Time Ripper.
Yes. So, trouble.
Yeah.
Back in Deadpool's world, they get to Liefeld's shoe store,
which is like a double joke because Rob Liefeld is co-creator of Deadpool, and it was a thing about, like, he didn't like drawing feet, so it's like a double whammy.
Yeah. So they're right in front of the shoe store. It's like they're on the street. Something's gonna happen. This, you sort of feel.
Yeah, it's something like sort of Old West about it, like meeting at high noon. And
for some reason, and I still don't actually really know why, a million Deadpool variants show up.
Yeah, first we get Nice Pool and Dog Pool.
Yes, which was a fun, reuniting with the dog.
Yeah, there's a couple of in-jokes here where our Deadpool calls him Van Milder, which is a riff on the Ryan Reynolds movie Van Wilder, like back in the day. And Nice Pool is like, oh, I see, I can gently tap the fourth wall as well. And he looks straight to camera and says, the proposal. Which I thought was just really funny. So, yeah, they show up, and Deadpool kind of maneuvers it so Nice Pool takes the bullets and gets shot a bunch of times. And then they learn that Nice Pool does not regenerate.
Yeah.
And so Deadpool makes a show of taking him across the street to get him medical help, but he's just taking more bullets so that Deadpool can have Dogpool. So long, Nice Pool.
Nice Pool is dead. So it seems pretty dark. Wolverine is ready to fight this, like, huge mass of Deadpools alongside Deadpool.
Our Deadpool, yes.
And he reaches back and pulls up a hood.
Yeah.
And it is fully just like the classic Wolverine, like with the wings and everything.
The white eyes.
Yep. And Deadpool's like, oh, you were saving this for, like, the real.
Yeah.
It was fun. And it doesn't look crazy. Like, it looks pretty.
No, it works. The white eyes are always, like, a weird sell. But, no, I think he pulls it off.
Yeah. It's pretty fun. And then, they pose. Yeah. And then they go and they fight through all of the Deadpools. It's a huge, long fight. Lots of gore. All of this. You see all the different kinds of variants, which is kind of interesting.
You see Deadpool, the future Deadpool.
Oh, yeah, because she's Deadpool's daughter or protege or something, because there's, like, an old man Deadpool in that run.
I recognize it, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, he's old.
Okay.
And then she's got like a suit and stuff.
Okay.
It's like very
All right.
futuristic. Okay. So that's fun. You get all of the different variants that we've already mentioned.
Right.
They fight, and they just like plow through them, and it's kind of like they get all the way through, and then they get pushed back, and then they get through, and
we get our Stanley. He's on the bus ad going through. It says like Stanley steamers, for like a cleaning thing. So that's our and so they're all down, and you think, oh, it's over, but then they regenerate. So they're just like, all getting up, crap. And it's like, oh,
so it sort of seems like there's no winning this war, and then all of a sudden, who should arrive but another Deadpool, who's kind of pudgy, and it turns out to be, I've lost his name
Peter.
already. Peter. It turns out to be Peter.
Yeah.
And every Deadpool in every universe loves Peter.
Yeah.
And so
they're like, well, everybody has a Peter, so.
Yes.
So that's
they just stop fighting because Peter's great and they love Peter.
Yeah.
And it just sort of ends with them all hugging Peter. Then we see Cassandra Nova has made it to the TVA and is like, I'm just going to take this Time Ripper and go through every timeline and destroy it. I'm just going to destroy this one.
Yeah, she gets Mr. Paradox. She's got the fingers in the skull. Yeah.
And so Mr. Paradox, it's one of those things where like the initial villain is like, well, I wasn't going to go that far.
Right.
And so he sort of becomes less villainy.
Yes,
He's like maybe going to help solve that problem. So that's what's happening in the TVA.
So he's explaining to her how to use the Ripper, and then he's telling Deadpool and Wolverine, like, this is how you stop her, but, like, you will not be able to survive this. You will die if you do this.
Yes, because basically what needs to happen, because he says it's not, you can't stop it.
Right.
And they're like, well, if you could, what would it be? And so he sort of, like, brainstorms.
It's like sort of, you need to merge these two streams.
You got to short it.
Yeah.
You got to short it, because what the thing is it combines matter and antimatter.
Right. Famously, they do not get along.
They don't get along. They explode and cause enormous energy. And so that's how this works. And so what the plan is for one of them, Wolverine or Deadpool, to go in kind of below to like where the energy is coming from and short it out. Like connect the antimatter and the matter before it gets to the device.
Right.
But that will kill them because it's a crazy explosion, insanity. So then we just get to this thing where, like, they go down there and they're like, I'm going to handle this. And, like, Wolverine's like, listen, man, I'm going to do it. I got nothing to go back to. You've got your friends. I've got nothing. So I'm going to do it. And Wolverine's like, no. Well, all right. You're right. And blah, blah, blah. And so Wolverine walks through the door and then Deadpool stabs him or something. It's something violent. And, like, shoves him back. And slams the door. And so Deadpool's like, I'm going to do this. Because this is my character arc. I have to do the big selfless thing.
Right. He says that he's the Spock and does like sort of a Wrath of Khan thing, which was pretty fun.
Against the glass, yeah. So he does kind of some bits with like, walking down the stairs, these kinds of things. But then eventually he sort of cops to stalling because he's kind of nervous about the prospect of actually dying. But then he's going to do it. He's going to do it. And so he goes to the power source and he grabs the wire.
Matter, whatever. It is,
And so he's pulling it and trying to reach the other side. So because he has to hold both sides.
Yeah.
And it's pretty far. It's hard to imagine how he would reach it, but he's trying. He's going to
If only he had someone to help him.
Wolverine is not cool with this, and he's like battering at the door. He's slashing it and he's pushing it, and he's like he wants to get in there. We keep flashing back to Cassandra, she's got her hands in the device and is like, it's just that thing with like the powers filling her and she's overwhelmed and she's gonna win. And you start to see from Loki, when you would see worlds start to disintegrate, they had these kind of like tendrily things.
Okay,
you start to see that coming out from the device, like she's just gonna do it, she's gonna win. And it's just sort of flashing back and forth between those two things. You start to see Hunter B-15 in her office, like people come in and they're like, there's something happening at this other district,
right? And
so she's coming in to kind of like solve the problem. You just sort of see different things at play all at the same time. Eventually, Wolverine breaks through. It seems like they're going to lose because Deadpool can't reach the thing. Wolverine breaks through. I mean, I guess you don't see it happen. You just see Wade's hand reaching out and not being able to reach the thing. And then Wolverine grabs his hand and he sends his claws into the other thing, and they've completed the circuit together. And Wolverine's shirt like blows off,
Yep.
and it's like this whole crazy dramatic thing.
Yep.
And Madonna starts playing. What is it? Like a prayer?
Yeah.
Is it like a prayer?
Yep.
And it's just like gratuitous. Like
Right.
it is insane how long you pan around at the two of them.
It's Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
It's fun. It's just fun. And the two of them are like united and they're going to solve the thing. And they're both sacrificing. It's so beautiful. And ultimately, explosions happen. Cassandra is basically obliterated. Which is interesting because Cassandra doesn't need a body to exist.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, she's obliterated. The machine is obliterated. Everything seems to be fine. They've solved the problem. So B-15 arrives and is like, hey, Paradox, what the frick is happening? And he sort of seems to scramble together a believable scenario where Cassandra had just escaped or arrived and like was taking over, and he told Wolverine and Deadpool how to solve it, and they did, and they died heroically, and it was beautiful. And this is a very smart way to do this because he's giving them all the credit. It's believable.
Yeah.
And so he seems like he's going to get away with it, and then it turns out that Wolverine and Deadpool survived.
But he said they couldn't.
They couldn't.
He said it was
but
impossible.
The power of the two of them together. And this is a fun thing because it's very much like wishful thinking stuff. Like it's like they don't even try to make it actually make sense.
No.
It's just because it was me and it was Wolverine and Madonna was playing and it was just too much. We couldn't possibly die, so we survived. And so they tell, that Paradox was a bad guy.
Yeah.
And he's arrested. And everybody's happy and everything is fine. And I think that they just tell B-15, like, please don't let my thing die. And she's like, okay.
Well, Peter is kind of like begging them, and she's sort of like into Peter. It's just
into Peter.
Yeah.
So, it's all very much like very easily wrapped up kind of a thing. But Wolverine says, can you help me with my problem? And she's like, well, the reason that you are who you are and who saved this thing is your past.
Right.
So we can't, because you would be a different person.
He accepts that very quickly, by the way.
Very quickly. Well, she says it very solemnly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a wisdom-y kind of a moment. And I think he's just sort of like, you're right. It's who I am. So anyway.
Yep.
That's it. Like it's very grandiose. And then it's just on Deadpool and Wolverine. And Deadpool's like, shawarma?
Yeah.
And Wolverine's like, I could eat.
Yeah.
And they just drop all of the drama
Yep.
immediately. And they go. And of course, this is a joke about the first Avengers movie.
Deadpool's like, the Avengers invented shawarma.
So then they go and they eat shawarma, and then they're starting to part ways. Like, this is the end of the movie.
Right.
Like, all of the drama is over. This is the denouement, you might say.
I would say that, yeah.
In fact, it is the denouement. You don't have to might have said it.
Okay.
So Wolverine is doing his loner thing again.
Yeah, it's
He's
like we're never going to see each other again.
I guess this is it. I'm just going to go. And Deadpool's like, well, I hope we see each other again. And he's like, no, we're not going to because I'm a loner. And he starts to walk away.
He didn't learn.
And Deadpool, I think he looks at his picture again with all of his friends. And then he's like, hey. And it cuts to he's brought Wolverine to his apartment to see all of his friends. And they just hang out, and the understanding basically is that Wolverine is just going to be part of this crew, and he's got a family again. It's beautiful and lovely.
Yeah. And when they had B-15, they were like, hey, there was a couple other heroes whose worlds died. Can you do something about that?
Yes, that's right.
That's just sort of a little throwaway line, and you don't really know what happens to it. But when they're panning around the table, it's Negasonic, it's Yukio, it's Colossus, it's Blind Al, and then you see that Laura is there with Logan, and they're kind of eating together and just doing a cute little thing.
Which is just nice. Yep. It's just nice.
Yep. So it's a pleasant ending, and they've saved this Fox world. They have found each other, and Wolverine finally has like a group that he can call.
And it's just nice. And it feels... This Deadpool... I'm going to get weird about this.
Oh.
This Deadpool, the way that it is different from the previous Deadpools... feels like it is grabbing onto something that has happened in pop culture relatively recently, I think, when I'm like observing how humor has developed and how, because you had the 90s through, early 2000s, like, 10 to 2010s, like it was a pretty long period where humor was very sarcastic.
Yeah.
It was very biting, and it was very kind of nihilistic. Sort of like nothing matters and you can't take anything seriously. If you take something seriously, you're not cool.
You're lame. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that lasted for like a long time.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the last couple years, we've taken a turn, and I don't know if it's like the Gen Z influence or something.
Maybe.
But earnestness has made its way back into pop culture in a really cohesive way.
Yeah, you hear that, Henry Cavill? Call your agent.
There, because it doesn't feel like a whiplash thing quite.
Yeah.
Because it's like this development of the sarcastic, witty, like fast talking humor.
Yeah.
And it's like this Deadpool movie. What it does for the Fox Marvel universes, how it's this bridge. It's like this movie is showing that bridge is functioning as a very uniquely qualified way to bridge those styles of humor.
Right.
Because this is a fast-talking, quippy, nihilistic type of humor that also adds in that earnestness.
It's got some heart.
It has heart, and also the funniness is also earnest.
Yeah.
You have just like there are things that are funny because they have heart.
Yeah.
And like you care about laughing because you care about the person and like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's sort of doing an interesting thing in that regard. And I don't know if it's Ryan Reynolds, because like he does seem like a genuinely like caring type person, and as much as anyone can be when they're rich and famous.
I don't know. Yeah.
But it does seem like he has that part to himself.
Well, I mean, at the very least, like Deadpool has been a part of his life for like decades at this point, because he plays this character in X-Men Origins, and his genuine relationship with Hugh Jackman and the franchise and stuff is bleeding through, I think.
And when that's another thing, because like Hugh Jackman is such an earnest person.
Yeah.
Seems to be
too earnest, maybe.
A very earnest person. And Ryan Reynolds seems to be a very sarcastic, quippy person.
Yeah.
And so the two of them together
well, they have
kind of bridge that as well.
They seem to have that big brother, younger brother kind of relationship, which is cute. And to kind of go along with what you're saying, too, I mean, the credits roll right into this montage of the Fox universe, and it is, like, genuinely touching.
Well, I mean, like,
they see them so young.
They use the classic Green Day graduation song.
Yes. Which the class before mine actually played at graduation.
It's hugely, like, it's a stereotype, and it's, like, silly. And it's another example, because they use it because it's stupid to use that. Like, you would use that. Like, well, I like that song ironically.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you used that song, it's because it's a joke at that song's expense.
Right.
But also, it's really like that.
Song is good at what it's
really
doing.
Nostalgic. And so you see those scenes, and what you're seeing is like behind the scenes stuff of like the Fox movies being made, and like it's very warm and nostalgic and genuine while being kind of funny. Yeah. Because it's using that song, but the song is also very effective at evoking nostalgia. Yeah. I don't know. I would never call the Deadpool movies complex humor.
It seems like you are.
But this particular one, it's like somehow the combination works for it. Yeah. Like Disney sucks. It's a conglomerate of lunacy, but somehow this movie feels kind of profound. Yeah. Culturally. Yeah. Which is weird.
I get what you're saying. I didn't think we were going to...
I didn't either. I just kind of got there.
I do understand what you mean.
Anyway, so that happens. You see during the credits, all of that stuff.
The only omission in that, and I mean, even the Miles Teller Fantastic Four, which like nobody, including the cast, enjoyed.
thought I liked that one.
Yeah, it's, and there's also 3 nice things about that if you really want to dig into the Radio Meanwhile archives. But everything is included except New Mutants. Doesn't get a single nod.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand why that
I wouldn't be that surprised if they just didn't
just
think
genuinely
of it.
forgot.
Yeah.
But New Mutants holds up. I mean, I think New Mutants is a relatively strong movie.
Yeah.
So
it fell into the 2020 pit.
And our end credit thing is not a tease about anything, but it's like Deadpool straight to camera. It's like, I'm tired of people saying that I'm the one who got the Human Torch killed. Let's rewind the tape. And it cuts to them in the transport, and Chris Evans just rapid fire says all the things
just
that
word
Deadpool,
for word. Yeah. The horrible lines.
Yeah, he's so quick about it. It's great. It is very funny because
you forget about Chris Evans because he does Captain America so well.
Yeah.
Like just so earnest and strong, and like he's really good at that. And you forget that he's really funny.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim, him and Scott Pilgrim is one of the funniest things to me. And he's doing that very New York-y kind of accent for Johnny Storm. So it is fun to see that, and the character, doesn't really do anything serious in this movie. So I was hoping that the end credits was going to have Chris Evans, and I was delighted that this is what it was. So
and that's where we end.
That's a wrap. How do you feel about the movie overall? I mean, I know you've analyzed it here, but I mean, just as a movie-going experience,
I think that, I think I really appreciate a lot of it. And there are parts of it that I really, really enjoy. Do I like the movie?
Yeah.
That's a hard question.
Yeah.
I think yes. I think I do.
Yeah. When it was announced that it was coming out, I was really happy they were doing it. I did not feel like I have to see this day one. It's like you do. I mean, I guess you have to, you know. And when I watched it in theaters, I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I would. I still think it's the funniest of the Deadpool movies. I think it pretty much does right by everyone. But I felt at that time like, would I want to rewatch this?
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And then like when you asked me for this, I was like, all right. And again, I found myself enjoying it more than I expected to. But while I could see myself rewatching, I'm sure that I will, the original X-Men trilogy, the First Class era, would I want to do that with the Deadpool movies? I don't know. And if I was going to watch a Deadpool movie, I think that I would go with 2. Because I feel like that is the best movie. Just forget the emotions, forget this being sort of a capstone for the Fox stuff. Like, I think Deadpool 2 is still the best representation of Deadpool on screen. I think it's the one that works the best. I really appreciate this for what it was, but I don't know that I would want to.
I feel like it's a project.
Yeah.
I think that's the deal with this movie and kind of a lot of Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Like later Marvel stuff. It's like you watch it for reasons other than you want to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And like it's enjoyable while you're watching it, but if you're like, I feel like watching a movie, maybe not this.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe a comparison to be made would be to Days of Future Past, and particularly the road cut of that movie. I feel like that is a tool to tie those 2 different versions of the X-Men worlds together, but also really functions as a good standalone movie in a way that I don't think that this necessarily does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think I agree with that.
I don't know. And I also feel like any sentimentality I have about it and what they did with the montage is kind of undercut by all the announcements about the next wave of Avengers movies, like Secret Wars and stuff, bringing back all the Fox cast again.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times...
They can't help themselves.
How many times are we going to put a pin in this world?
Yeah. It's the MCU specifically, I feel like, is a really interesting glimpse at how art and capitalism fight each other.
Yeah.
Because you see glimmers of like, that is a really interesting idea, and I really am impressed by what you've decided to do with that thing, or this person, or that character, or like, why did you cast that person? How interesting.
Yeah.
And then it gets immediately undercut by the money-making machine that is Marvel and Disney and all of these things now.
Right.
And I think that's interesting because like Marvel Comics, I think, has retained more of the let's see what the artist is going to do. Let's see, let's do something interesting with that, man. So having that influence, I feel like maybe highlights more than a lot of things that tension between those two sides of it.
Well, I think I would just keep making exceptions for this kind of stuff because Logan was such a good end point for both Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart that it just felt like when Patrick Stewart showed up in a very thankless role version of Professor X in Multiverse of Madness.
I can barely see that being Professor X.
Yeah, but he's not playing the Fox version. He's playing the animated series version in that.
Yeah,
So I was, it's still a terrible
It's
version.
still wrong.
No, but they play the animated theme. He's in the yellow chair, I mean, so it's sort of like, okay, I guess, like, they don't do right by him, but I kind of, okay, and then you have Beast, like Kelsey Grammer showing up at the end of the Marvels, which, again, was just fun and cool, and it was kind of nice to see that character again. And now, once again, we're saying goodbye to, like, the Fox version, just for it to turn around again.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe I'm part of the problem, because if you ask me, do I want to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man and Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, like, in a shot together? I do. But, like, I also, like, don't, like, want that to happen because for art's sake.
Exactly.
We've done it.
Like,
it's over.
There's something necessary for like, true creative justice.
Yeah.
There is an amount of restraint that is required. And when it comes to making money, there's so much of just give the people what they want. Give the people what they want. Give it.
Yeah.
And like fan service and just like slop.
Mm-hmm.
And you want it, but part of what makes it true is not getting what you want sometimes.
Yeah, and I feel like to, think about Spider-Man No Way Home, for example, like the Andrew Garfield movies never got to conclude, you left a lot of questions. And so to have that emotional resolution of that version of Spider-Man saving MJ is like really impactful. And the Tobey Maguire movies were always meant to have that fourth movie, and it ends on kind of a turd of a movie. And so it made sense and it felt good and it was rewarding, but we're not going to leave it there. We're going to go back and we're going to take another bite of the apple, whether or not we should. And I don't know. You're right. It becomes the ultimate battle between greed and art.
Yep.
And greed's going to win
Greed's
every
gonna
time.
win, apparently.
So,
yep. Yeah.
Oof.
And also, I'll just say it's also interesting because this movie, like, you resolve Logan. You should not bring back Logan. You do bring back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, which should not work.
Right.
But then they do make it work in a very specific way.
Yeah.
So, like, that is kind of art fighting back.
True.
Because, like, they definitely exclusively brought him back for money.
Yeah.
Like, Marvel and Disney brought Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine for money. Art made it something more.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point. Deadpool and Wolverine, everybody.
Piece of profound art, apparently.
Yep.
Cultural monument.
Yep.
All right, well, that's that. So next time, we're going to be back at cartooning. We're going to get into X-Men Evolution.
For the 25th anniversary.
For the 25th anniversary. Oh my gosh, I'm so old.
Crazy.
X-Men Evolution was like my high school years.
Yeah.
And like Rogue with the like emo Rogue spoke to me.
Yeah.
She spoke to me. So we'll get into that next time.
Okay.
All right. Thanks to Prophetic Music for our theme song, which I love.
It's so good.
It's such a good theme song. Thanks so much, Prophetic Music. Previously on X-Men is brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Other shows on the network include This Endorian Life and 90210 Here We Go. Please rate, subscribe, or share this show wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.
Bye.